Gotta catch 'em all is the slogan for Pokemon, but is it really? Is it really still the slogan? When Dexit happened and you weren't able to have all of your Pokemon in Galar, people were going crazy, the bad kinda crazy about the whole thing, using that slogan to prove Pokemon's hypocrisy. They are telling you to catch 'em all, but they don't let you. Well, hey, I'm not so a trainer, and that's kind of a lie, so let's get into it. Before we begin, I want to thank my YouTube member Dash Plays and my Twitch subscribers Anubis here, Redsamnagi, Zanes222, Nightshades and Lazarix. Thank you so much for going the extra mile and helping make my content possible. And now, on to the video. Gotta catch 'em all has been tied to Pokemon for a long time. Those are the words so many of us heard when we were younger watching the Pokemon anime on its early seasons, with different translations of course, and it even was the name of the English theme song. What a lot of people did not realize was that it hasn't been a present slogan for a long time. It's a common argument. A lot of Pokemon fans use this slogan as kind of a gotcha thing for the whole Dexit situation that started with the Switch games, but in reality, the slogan hasn't really been used since Gen 2. Unlike the like and subscribe button of course, which you will use right now, please. Pokemon game boxes from Gen 1 and Gen 2 have the slogan right underneath the Pokemon logo, but starting with Gen 3, this was no more. Even in the anime, it became used less and less through Gen 1 into Gen 2 and Gen 3 and eventually disappeared completely. It is still alluded to as it is an iconic slogan, but it rarely showed up. For example, when Pokemon released its 1000 Pokemon video, they ended it by saying, "Did you catch 'em all?" And it was used in the TCG expansion for Pokemon 151, a TCG set focusing solely on the original 151 Pokemon from Bulbasaur to Mew, which makes sense considering how it's basically a Gen 1 nostalgic shot meant for people that might have not even kept up with the franchise, and the slogan was sure to get their attention. So using "gotta catch 'em all" with the whole Dexit thing was always a bit of a stretch, and by a bit of a stretch I mean a huge stretch, a 20-year-old stretch. It was always a bit of a lie. The slogan wasn't a thing anymore. They weren't telling you to catch 'em all, they hadn't done that in a long time. But why did this happen? Why did Pokemon abandon such an iconic slogan? Well, it all started with Dexit, just not the one you're thinking of. Some people attribute this change to controversies with some media outlets transforming the slogan to "gotta buy 'em all" in order to criticize Pokemon's business practices, but I really believe it boils down to their future plans for Pokemon. As I stated before, the last time we saw it in the cover of a Pokemon game was with Pokemon Crystal, and there's a good reason for it. Pokemon Sapphire and Pokemon Ruby, the original Gen 3 games, had our first Dexit. It was impossible for you to get a full national dex in those games until the release of Pokemon Leaf Green and Pokemon Fire Red 2 years later. Those were the first games in the Game Boy Advance and you couldn't transfer up from previous generations. It would have been a bit wrong of them to use the slogan "gotta catch 'em all" in games where you couldn't either catch them all or transfer them all. Right then and there, if we were paying attention, which we weren't, we were just having fun playing Pokemon, but if we were paying attention, we would have noticed the first hint at their plans for the future of the franchise. With the rise of Pokemon Mystery Gift events, starting with Gen 4, events that weren't always available in every country, it also became harder to really get every single Pokemon. Gen 5 was yet again a huge example of their vision, since the OG Black and White made the, at the time, mistake of having only Gen 5 Pokemon available until the post-game. Something that took the nostalgic appeal away from those games, but showed their first attempt at building a region with a more unique and limited Pokemon roster, without the instant availability of other Pokemon from other regions, either through catching or trading. As much as we remember this slogan, it has been so long that, looking back, it's just like Thanos, the limited Pokedex was inevitable. And had we looked at the writings on the wall, it was also expected. The question now is, will we ever be able to have everything in one game again? Will we ever be able to catch them all again? Honestly, I don't think so. I really do believe we have a lot of Pokemon right now, and giving this more unique Pokedex to each region creates a healthier competitive landscape as well as serves as a good excuse to not have to find a way to fit every single Pokemon in a game. Games like Legends games can easily keep going with a very limited Pokedex, and even future remakes can do the same, with new games bringing a lot more Pokemon into the mix through the base game and DLC. For example, we have 1025 Pokemon in a national dex, with Scarlet and Violet plus its expansions having 733 available/compatible Pokemon. This means that only 292 are missing from these games. Sure, some of them might be your favorite or something, but it's fair to assume that the same will happen to someone else's favorite in the future. And no, I'm not saying this just because they kept the best boy berserker in the base game, I swear. And that is all I have for you today. Using gotta catch 'em all as an argument for the whole Dexit thing has been a lie for a long time, and maybe for a good reason. But what about you? Do you think we'll ever have everything again? Let me know in the comments down below. And now, like the video if you like it, dislike if you don't, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Pokemon content, and also ring the bell so you know when the next video is out. Also, you can become a channel member or check out my merch in order to further support the channel. I'd be forever thankful for that. You can follow me on social media or check out one of my streams here and on Twitch. All the links are in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.